Listen now, act after, and earn this with your host, Kyle Kuyat.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle Kuyat, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Earn This podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. You are in store for an interesting episode today. Definitely going to be one that is going to have a very significant impact on your productivity, your life, and your attitude in general. Today marks day number 4 of the COVID-19 Day Challenge. Now, if you haven't gone back and listened to any of the episodes yet, the COVID-19 Day Challenge stands for Create Ongoing Victory in Daily Action. As I mentioned every single time, that's exactly why I created this podcast, to help you be better today than you were yesterday. I would assume most of you out there have an iPhone, or at least I would assume that most phones do this. But the iPhone gives you a screen time counter. And after the first week of being home in this quarantine, I literally almost threw up when I saw my screen usage. Let's just say that I spent more than a day on my phone throughout an entire week. Now, I was so frustrated with that and so irritated that I got back to the basics of doing things and how I was productive beforehand. And I also took to the internet to find out, some other strategies. And because I know so many of you are also going through this, and especially having to work from home now, a lot of us are, I want to share with you my 3 strategies that I found to be most helpful and that actually work. So my first tip is to cluster. Now, what do I mean by that? Put all those apps that are distracting you, and you can actually see on your phone the apps that you're spending the most time on. You can put those in a folder. And I've combined this with another tip that I've given in the past, which is time blocking. So for that particular folder of apps, let's say it's Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, for example. What I do is I time block off a time in my day where I say, hey, I'm only allowed to spend 15 minutes on these apps and no more. Tip number 2 is notifications. Literally capitalize the no. Notifications, you do not want them. What's helped me tremendously is turning off the notifications on some of those apps that distract me the most. I keep them on for my messages and for obviously phone calls, but I take them away for emails and every other app in between. And tip number 3 is probably the most simple one, but also the hardest, and that is leaving your phone in the other room. So one of the things I've been doing as of late is whenever I'm working, my phone is in the other room on the charger, and also first thing in the morning and lastly before I go to bed, I have the phone in the other room for multiple reasons. If you listen to the first episode of my first podcast, to get me up out of bed so I have to run to it. And then lastly, I'm not staring at the light or my phone first thing in the morning when I get up. I have that time for me and also that same time for myself before I go to bed. And you're going to find that with these 3 things, you're going to take over all that control that your phone has over you. If you haven't noticed already, the COVID-19 Day Transformation podcast is extremely to the point, extremely tactical, and I really pray and I hope that these are helping you guys out, because they're tremendously helping me in this unique time and unique circumstance we're going through. We need all the help that we can get, which is why I need help from you guys. And thank you so much for your continued support. I can't do any of this without you. All I ask in return is that if you found something of value here today, that you share it with a friend. Also, if you'd like the podcast, leave me a review and let me know what you think. As always, guys, I'm Kyle Kuyat. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.